Greetings. I am with Saurabh Agarwal, Vice President and General Manager, Materials Group South Asia, Avery Dennison. So first and foremost, big welcome.
Thank you, Ramu.
Yeah. And we are at the ResPack conference, and Saurabh has just presented, and we've just got him hot off the stage, and we are going to talk about innumerable intelligent things, but mainly to do with what Avery has been doing in India and, of course, around the rest of the country. I know you had a presentation, and we'll dovetail into that. But just quickly, any sort of macro numbers, macro perspectives, something that's happening globally, which the Indian viewer should know about, the Indian labeling and packaging fraternity should be aware about.
I'll say a lot happens, but the good thing is that now India is not behind. In fact, we run at par with the global trends, and we at Avery Dennison say there are two secular trends which are shaping this industry today and also for tomorrow.
Got it.
One is, of course, the whole piece of sustainability, which is not a buzzword. It is actually as important as anything else. And the other piece is intelligence, which is this whole piece of digitalization. And there are a lot of reasons why it's becoming more and more relevant.
Sure.
So that's what I'll say. But nothing in particular that I'll say that we are behind rest of the world. Not at all.
Yeah. So I'll pick up from intelligence, and I know that there's been a lot of conversation. Also been talking to some of your tech support team, some of your colleagues, etc. And I think the top of the line conversation that we keep hearing is intelligent labels. And obviously it means different things to different people. So I'm also trying to understand what is the Avery take on it in terms of, say, connected packaging, and of course some of the things that you alluded to during your presentation. So again, two questions really. What is the plan for India in terms of intelligent labels, and how is the sort of knowledge transfer happening to the label fraternity or the Indian ecosystem?
So intelligent labels, I'll say that again, it's a very, very broad term,
subject,
because the intelligence can come from multiple sources, right from QR code, and we again have a portfolio of offerings here. But one technology that I will say that it's very close to our heart, and again we are world leaders in that. We are the world's largest UHF RFID company. So RFID is definitely reshaping a lot of things. We now have a manufacturing or a RFID in the country. I will say that it was an example wherein we leaned forward. It just tells that how much we believe in this technology and the future of this technology.
Got it.
That you are even before the market is ready, you want to be ready in this space. And again, it's allowing packaging to do a lot more than what it has done historically. Thus far, because suddenly that simple chip getting added to a basic label, let's call it a dumb label, which becomes intelligent.
True.
Now the track and trace is possible, the full visibility is possible, the consumer engagement at a very different level is possible, brand security at a very different level is possible. In fact, at Avery Dennison, we say that we believe in a future where every product will have a digital twin. It's a matter of when, not a matter of if.
Got it. Makes sense, yeah. And I was just sharing with you a short while ago before the cameras started rolling, and I think it was pre-COVID when I'd gone to, I don't know what to call it. I think the official word is demo center, but I call it an eye-opening center.
You can call it knowledge center.
Knowledge center, fair enough. Is that the nomenclature? Okay, fair enough, yeah. So when I went to the knowledge center, I think there were three things, which was, so again, these are words you hear people come and, use on the stage, RFID, and I really never saw any tangible aspect to it. And then it was at the knowledge center where for the first time they showed us the whole case study with Delta Airlines, which again, many things, because I just lost a bag in transit. So everything just, the penny dropped in a way. And I think, of course, there were two more to do with apparel, and there was something to do with, I think, Alcobev. Those are smaller case studies, but the Delta Airline thing, stuck with me, and I realized, what the possibilities were.
So I'll encourage you to visit it again, because now we have a full, we call it intelligent lab, where we have the live use cases, where you can have a touch and feel. Retail, apparel, pharma, logistics, auto, all these are available in a very live form, which just makes a visualization so easy.
Yeah. And just for the benefit of the viewers, if you can just share with us what is the Intelligent Lab, because I mean, I've just, gate crashed and airdropped into it, but because it is a huge space and there are, I think, 4 segments which you all have divided it into. There's an experiential part, there's a training part, there are some machines running live over there, plus of course the R&D which goes behind. So if you can share what happens and how people can get into it.
So this is our facility in Pune. Of course, we have our largest plant in the country there, housed there. But along with that plant, we also have this knowledge center.
Yes.
That has various parts. Of course, our R&D center is located in the same premises where we do a lot of work for India and beyond.
Correct.
And along with it, we have one is something called Converting College, which is more for the converters.
Correct.
Where you have the full process of conversion. That can happen. We use it for training purposes.
So there's a Gallus and there's
all that is there. Pre-press, press, and application as well. Then you have this intelligent lab. We call it iLab, where you have the physical form of use cases. So where the intelligence comes together with a basic label and becomes an intelligent label.
Nice.
And again, it's extremely helpful because these visual live cases makes a lot of difference, because when you see them, then it really clicks at what exactly are we talking.
Correct.
We also have something called InsightX, which is our brand experience center.
Nice.
Where again we can create prototypes, what all is possible through a PS, pressure sensitive label, that's available there. Digital prototypes, physical prototypes, all that is possible. We have stuff like neuromarketing, like you are there, I can tell you that, listen, which decoration you liked more before because I'll be able to track the eyeballs and the amount of time that you have spent on that bottle.
This is scary.
So there's a lot of technology that gets integrated, a lot of live cases of sustainability, like how does label enable the recycling of the substrate, whether it's an HTP or whether it's a PET, what happens in that case, or whether it's a paper. Our visibility on our linerless offerings, so that's again something that basically a lot of these things can be seen live. This is actually in Ranjangaon,
correct,
where our plant is,
which is slightly in the outskirts of Pune. And how does say somebody who's just hearing this conversation and wants to either register or walk in, how does that happen? What is the process like? And do you have separate sort of units and modules for converters, separate for brands, separate for students, separate for geeks like me?
Reach out to our team is what I'll say. So brands, our brand team is very closely connected with brands. So generally, if they have to visit, then they become the point of contact. Our sales team is works very closely with the converters. And otherwise, I am there. My team is there. The best way to visit that center is because it's a bit at a distance from Pune. What we advise is that come the previous night, start early, make sure that you're able to really
spend the day
there and leave by 3 or 4. And that's good amount of time where one can really absorb.
Correct.
If one wants to rush, then it makes less sense.
It's not worth it. True. RFID, how much of traction are we gaining in India? I know there are some movers, but otherwise, what is the kind of traction we are getting in India in terms of adoption, conversion? Because I know there are about 10 to 15% who have adopted it fantastically and integrated it with innumerable product offerings in the last, I think, 20 to 24 months. But in addition to that,
so what I can say, in our current portfolio, this business unit is registering the maximum growth.
Wow.
For all the obvious reasons. Of course, it's a relatively smaller base. And again, difficult to answer this question in a generic way. You have to answer it segment by segment. So apparel globally also, and even in India, has been the first mover. Where if you see, you go to a Zara store, you go to an M&S store, you go to an H&M store. Everywhere you will see that RFID is absolutely integrated. Even the Indian brands are not behind anymore. You take any large format, it's getting adopted. And again, it's the reason is also simple, that as the volumes are expanding, you just cannot manage them manually. And on the other side, there is consumer who is demanding more and more. Beyond apparel, logistics is an area which is picking up a lot more globally, yet to do in India. Retail is again something where it makes so much sense.
Correct.
A lot of large retailers are already on this journey. Beyond this, I'll say that healthcare is appearing as a very, very promising space. In fact, there are these pharma companies and these hospitals.
Of course.
Because the expiry management, etc., becomes so easy.
Yeah, and every patient walking in, walking out, paperwork. Yeah.
Makes sense. And the biggest opportunity, which I will say it's still very early, is food. Because now technology today has a potential to solve real problems. And food waste has been a big problem. In fact, Avery Dennison, just a while back, we did this study wherein we said that there's $540 billion worth of waste that gets generated in food supply chains. Globally.
Correct.
And technology can solve it.
Reduce it,
So that's again something that we are leaning forward. And again, the experience has also been that something, even if it picks up in West, it may take some time to trickle down here, but it happens. Because if there's a real commercial advantage, then it will pick up.
So again, I mean, just as someone who's been with the industry for a few decades now, I just sometimes feel, there is a little thing that we are running out of time. We need to move things a little fast. And, there's a certain gradualism of things, and you hope that there's greater momentum. So the question really is, Avery, of course, you're this behemoth, your global presence, you have clout. Is there something you're doing in terms of facilitating conversations with these brand owners, etc.? Because you have the equity to do that in that sense, knowledge, equity, technology, so that these conversations, gallop a little faster than the pace at which, we are at the moment operating at.
No, we do that a lot. In fact, we have a separate brand team. We call it segment teams.
Correct.
This team works very closely with the brands. If I talk of intelligent label, there is a separate dedicated team who enables these conversations. We also have a business unit which is where we bring in this whole end-to-end solutioning possible.
Nice.
So again, they are very large brands who may have this capability in-house.
Correct.
But then they are also spaces where they don't know how to do it.
Right. Indie brands, regional brands, startups. Makes sense,
And you run pilots. Because again, these decisions are business transformation decisions. They don't happen overnight. But you have to demonstrate value. You have to show that, okay, listen, this makes sense. And again, as I said, that it is... my take would be that we don't have to rush into it. It will happen.
Correct.
It's very clear that it's a matter of when.
Sure.
But every passing year, we are seeing more and more interest, more and more traction. Now, in the RFID space, now we have offerings which is local for local. So it's not only we manufacturing here, but we are also manufacturing inlays which are relevant for the India ecosystem. We call it AD Cobra.
AD Cobra. Why is that?
I don't know why is that, but Cobra is a name that we have given. It's very powerful chip.
Right. Okay. All right. No, I accept, but yes, not exactly my favorite species. Yes. Yeah. Again, just curious to know. I mean, we've been seeing labels. When I, started off, wet glue was, of course, the norm, and obviously then pressure sensitive, etc. has happened. Again, from you, because we've just leapfrogged straight into RFID, we'll just rewind a little. So, what is, according to you, the expectations that the Humble label is supposed to do in 2026, and what is Avery's role in terms of manufacturing, and what are you doing? Because obviously, you have 2 factory locations here, and obviously there's a lot of work that's going on. So if you can just spotlight what is it that Avery does in terms of A, the manufacturing, and B, which are the specific segments that you are, in the label space.
So let me answer the label thing first, and then I'll go to manufacturing.
Sure.
So this Humble label does a lot.
True.
Like we sometimes undermine what all it can do. In fact, the way I see that, of course, packaging does a lot. Packaging stores product, and a lot more is expected out of packaging.
Sure.
But label is the layer that connects packaging with consumer. which makes modern supply chains possible because of a lot of information needs that gets fed through this label.
Correct.
And the role of label is also evolving. So it's label, and the important thing to understand is that label doesn't stand on its own feet. But label enables packaging in a very different way.
Yep.
So of course, if you look at the primary role of packaging, beyond storing products, all the consumer engagement, all branding needs, label plays a very important role. How do you make packaging sustainable? How do you make circularity possible? There again, label plays a very important role.
Sure.
By more than by being self-sustainable, I will say it plays a bigger role by making sure that the packaging is sustainable.
Got it.
So if I give an example of our clean flake technology, so what it is a label for a PET substrate.
Yes.
Now, during the recycling process, it cleanly moves out.
Yes.
With no contamination, and you make bottle-to-bottle recycling possible.
Yeah.
Same is case for HTP containers. Same is true for corrugated boxes.
Yep.
So how does label enable the circularity of the packaging?
Yep.
Anti-counterfeit is again something that becomes very important, where through overt and covert features, label today is able to solve
those problems.
A lot of functionality
based
issues get sorted by label, reclosures, removables, which makes packaging complete. And again, lately I will say that a lot of information needs. Now, information needs are coming from regulators. More and more information needs are coming from consumers.
Yes.
All this is again enabled by label.
Got it.
Concepts like digital product passport, it's not possible without label actively participating in the whole process.
Got it.
This other thing that you said, this whole piece of manufacturing. So we have 2 manufacturing locations in the country. Pune is still our largest plant.
Yes.
The first greenfield, and then 22 is when we opened Noida.
Yes.
Noida is the latest plant, so a lot of industry 4.0, a lot of robotics, etc. is something that we end up seeing.
And are there sort of vertical division in terms of product portfolio? Because Ranjangaon I visited twice, but so what happens inside Noida? And
no, Noida I will say
it's the mother plant. Ranjangaon is the mother plant, and this would be the
Noida. I will not say that it's a satellite plant. It's as large as Ranjangaon, maybe not as large as Ranjangaon today, but it has a potential of becoming as large as Ranjangaon. But what it allows you is to cater to the North India in a much better way.
Nice.
So
closer to customers, customer service, tech support. Nice.
So it of course adds much more capabilities to our overall portfolio. These plants are largely dedicated to label stock materials, but in our portfolio we have graphics materials, paint protection films, window films, reflective materials, any road sign that you see, a lot of tape materials, which completes our full offering.
Nice, nice. I'm also curious to know, because I don't know if you were here yesterday at the ResPack conference, but there were some interesting presentations. So 2 things that were interesting, which I'm sure is obviously something that you are keenly watching. One is what's happening with inline molding, because directly, indirectly, I don't know how much of an overlap there is, but obviously there are some disruptors there. The second interesting thing was, again in one of the panel discussions, was the sort of somehow the return of the wet glue, which I thought, this is more or less seen a dip, and now we obviously PS is there. So again, just purely as someone who understands the market and is watching it as keenly as you probably, what is happening? Because there is a churn. Interesting things are going on simultaneously, because I thought this is now just the road, straight road ahead for PS. But obviously there is some little readjustment that's transpiring. One from the old kid in the block, and one is obviously in mold. And some of the samples, I think 2 of the companies had shared with us. One is, I think they have a stall outside, and another one who has, is a Bombay player doing significant work in mold. So just curious to know, What is this turmoil that's taking place?
Let me address the wet glue. That's an easy one.
Okay.
Wet glue, I'll say that no, it is a shrinking degradation,
okay.
and,
Fair
and
enough,
that's how it is. It will be, because there are some genuine gaps.
Correct.
With wet glue, it is you don't want to deal with messy adhesives on your shop floor, and purely on the basis of total cost. We call it TAC model, which is total applied cost. There are other technologies, and especially PS is much more superior than wet glue. So it's again it's a matter of time.
Correct.
And
is this like a global thing, or it's India specific?
Yeah. No, I'll say it's a global thing. The other one that you said, I believe you're talking of IML.
IML, sorry. Yeah. What did I say?
The inline labeling.
Apologies.
Inline labeling has one more
correct connotation. Yes. No. Because I had another conversation there. Sorry, apologies. IML.
So let me just spend a minute on inline labeling as well. So what does inline allows you to do is that when your containers are being made blown,
correct, of course.
So generally the process is that you will get them out, they will cool down,
correct, and
then you apply the labels.
Correct.
Now we have a offering for inline labeling wherein you can apply these labels while the containers are hot.
Yes.
So what it does is that it suddenly makes your supply chain more efficient, because you don't have to store them for them to cool down.
Correct.
And it's of course more cost efficient.
Of course,
so that's inline.
Correct.
Now in IML is a again an interesting technology. There are certain segments, and again I come from a background wherein I'll say that everybody has a space.
Yes.
So especially in spaces like dairy, paints, we have
lubricants.
Lubricants also, yes, but more of paints, dairy and paints is where IML has been a success. But then there are also challenges with IML.
Okay.
So one, of course, challenge is there's much more initial cost,
True.
which is not the case in PS. So that gives PS an advantage. The flexibility with IML is less. You cannot just keep on introducing more SKUs or changes, because that means that you have to invest again in the mold.
So does that mean standard templates? You work with standard templates? Yeah.
No, last mile adjustments are much more possible in PS versus IML.
Of course.
And the other challenge of IML is, and again, I'm not wanting to sound at all that I'm pulling IML down, because I know that it has its space.
No, this is more as an industry observer. Yeah.
But IML also interferes with the recycling process.
I see.
Because even if it's say it's a mono-material structure, because you have say PET on PET, but then in the recycling process, it's very difficult to take those inks off. That means that they stay as a contamination. Now, one can say that it's acceptable because, but still it's a contaminated material. If you're talking of things like bottle to bottle, that is not possible with IML at all, at least today, unless we have a smarter mechanism of making sure that during the recycling process you are able to take care of all these contaminants, including inks.
Got it. All right. So since you touched upon recycling and obviously alluded to sustainability, we'll go there. Obviously, Avery is driving sustainability in a big way. Again, conversations that we pick up. Again, two aspects to it, and one is what you're doing in terms of your own manufacturing and the way you run the operations, the factory, the shop floor, and your own operational efficiency. And the second is the outreach with your customers, your partners, etc. So if you can firstly touch upon what the strategy there is and what is the kind of vision you're working on in terms of nuts and bolts for sustainability. Yes.
Again, thank you for this question. This topic is very close to our heart.
Close to you? Okay.
So first, what are we doing in our plants?
Right.
So it is, we started on this journey, I'll say, much before it was a buzzword.
Fashionable,
So in fact, we embarked on this journey in 2015. And it is then that we said that by 2030, we will bring down our Scope 1 and Scope 2 emissions by 70% versus 2015 baseline.
Nice. Significant,
It's big. And here you are already considering all the growth that will happen. So you're talking of absolute emissions, you're not talking of unit emissions.
Got it.
We also said that we will bring down our Scope 3 emissions by 30% versus the 2018 baseline. So again, a very, very ambitious
target.
And the good thing is that we have been publishing the scorecard every year.
Public domain?
Public domain.
Lovely.
2025, the latest report is there, and whatever targets we had set for 2025,
nice.
We are there.
Okay.
And there are also areas where we have exceeded them ahead of the time.
Nice.
So definitely there's a lot that's happening on our footprint.
Lessons for India? I mean, 2 or 3 things you're doing right, because obviously it's a huge task force that you have. The space is massive.
Sustainability is not only good for environment, it is good for bottom line as well. Every time you save energy, you're saving hard dollars.
Yeah, true.
Every time you are using less water, you're also saving dollars. So and there are multiple forms in which sustainability manifests. Every time you are making your forecasting process more efficient, and you are able to bring down the obsolescence in your system.
Correct.
That is sustainability.
Got it.
If you are able to bring down the amount of scrap that your manufacturing process generates, or the waste that gets generated, it is sustainability.
Understood.
And it makes you more efficient.
Of course, yeah.
So that's for us.
Right. Also, just quick follow-up is that obviously what happens in a lot of organizations which are doing advocacy on sustainability is you have top leadership doing a spectacular job, but the trickle down usually is either half-hearted or it's not fully understood by the rest of the organization. So again, just curious to know, obviously I'm sure you have a team of 400,000. There must be a substantial team working on the shop floor. How is this trickle down of information which is obviously inside your brain going right down to the last man or woman on the shop floor?
I'm quite satisfied.
Okay.
So we have 8 values that defines our culture,
right,
and which every one of us have to carry on their sleeves every day.
Nice.
Sustainability is one of them.
Okay.
So it is not that it is not just
a boardroom thing. Yeah.
Not at all. Not at all. In fact, I'll be surprised if you pick anybody in our system and he or she is unaware of how, as an organization, we are contributing to this space, and where, as an organization, we want to be.
Got it.
In this space.
Sure.
I'll come to the second question that you had, which is what is it that we have to offer? Now again, sustainability is a very, very broad.
Of course.
It means different things for different people. Beyond our operational footprint, we have defined sustainability from the lens of 4 R's.
Okay.
So when I look at product, the first one is, where am I sourcing my raw material from?
Nice.
Now, am I sourcing my raw material from responsible sources? That's first. From the responsible suppliers. Okay. The second pillar becomes reduce.
Yes.
Which is, how am I delivering same or superior performance
with less of
the materials?
Yeah.
Now, it is also directly linked with a positive impact on the bottom line.
Of course.
The third one is, which is what kind of renewable content or recycled content is there in the raw materials that we use. So here, if I talk of, say, today all my standard hot melt adhesive has more than 30% bio content.
Yeah.
Things like recycle PET, recycle PP, all that will fall in this bucket.
Nice.
This bucket is also getting hugely influenced by the EPR regulations in the country.
Yeah.
So of course, the good thing is that we were running ahead already. So it's not that EPR came as a surprise to us.
Right,
it just made sure that whatever we were doing, it brought it into the regulatory framework.
Yes.
And the fourth R is, how does our products or Avery Dennison's products enable recycling in the ecosystem? So these 4 R's, and today we call this whole program Sustainable Advantage Program. Okay. And today, more than 80% of all the products that I sell in the country will, in some form or the other, ticking the boxes.
Nice. Also, just curious to know, because I mean, global company, factories all over, operational style, you have cultural habits in different countries. Do you have sort of an internal audit where you're mapping, I know some of the other global players who have presence in India, they do this, where every sort of territory is mapped against another. So factory operations, efficiency, all of that. I just basically wanting to understand that where does India now operate in the global sort of matrix for Avery in terms of your two big factories here as compared to, some of your other factories elsewhere?
There is a scorecard model that we follow.
Correct.
We are a US headquartered Fortune 500 company.
Yes.
Very strong systems and processes.
Correct.
And there's a continuous benchmark that keeps on happening.
Yep.
Not only between these two plants, but how are these plants compared to my plant in Thailand, my plant in Malaysia,
of course,
my plants in China.
Yes.
And how can we learn
from each other. Correct.
And I will say that's what we do day in, day out. It just makes us better all the time.
Yes.
So that's a standard process. I'll also say that in the solution space, where we work very closely with the apparel brands, there are a lot of audits that happens on their behalf to make sure that whether
it adheres to all the norms and such.
So that keeps us on our toes all the time. You again most welcome to visit any of our facility. We take a lot of pride that
I love Ranjangaon. I think I learned a lot when I went there. So again, you mentioned 4 hours, and thank you for sort of sharing that. The 4th hour, recycling again, because it's so tricky. What are normally the sort of 10 or 15 things you tell your partners who are purchasing material from you? Because I think it is a challenge for them. What happens to the label after it's produced and taken ownership by the brand owner and then goes out into the bazaar market, what have you? Post that, many things, because I think reusable inks, whether the surfactants, the adhesives, so many factors come into play. Where should it go in terms of composting, landfills? Are there any sort of red flags that we should be aware of there, and any tips that you will have for anybody who's listening to this here, especially on the recycling front?
I'll say again, this is an interesting subject, and it has evolved over time.
Yeah,
so one is recycling of the label, and the other one is recycling of the packaging format on which this label is applied.
Correct.
Now, label in itself is a very small part
of the entire
the entire packaging format.
Yep.
So our first priority is that how do we make sure that the presence of this label doesn't interfere with the recycling of the substrate or the packaging format on which it is applied. Whether it is PET, whether it is PE, whether it is corrugated boxes, how do we make sure that whether it is glass, how do we make sure that it enables, and that is where label becomes superior versus a lot of other forms of decoration. I gave you the example of IML.
Yes.
Direct print is again an area where there is ink contamination that happens.
That's true.
Shrink sleeve is again an area where it starts to interfere with these auto sorters.
Correct.
How do you sort the type of plastic? Because there is another layer on top of it.
True.
The presence of PVC doesn't help at all.
Yes.
So that's where the fact that if one is using the right kind of label and a right kind of adhesive, and the fact that it can move out in a clean way without contaminating anything during the recycling process, that itself is a big tick.
Yes.
And then of course the next level comes that what happens to these flakes or these labels.
Yes.
And because label itself is using a wide variety of substrates, the answer would be different in different cases. The clean flake example that I gave, now these are PET labels. Now it's very easy for you to take them off, and again
PET somehow we managed to crack, right, to some extent. Some of the others are a little more dodgy in that sense, no?
PET we have been able to crack, but again we always want more. Like what happens to those caps? That problem is still not solved, and most of the PET recycling is still converting the PET into fibers.
That's true.
Which is not true circularity, because recycling is very good,
but not bottle to bottle.
But the true north is it becomes circular, because you just cannot have linear linear
absolutely
chains.
agree. Absolutely agree.
So again, there is more that is needed for PET as well. And if you see, lately, if you have traveled to Europe now, they have this regulation wherein the cap, when you open the cap cannot fall because it has been built in a way that it has to stick to the original bottle.
Correct.
So there's a lot that is needed. I'll say it's an evolution, but yeah, I agree with you that PET is ahead.
Slightly ahead of the
game. Other recycling streams, but there is more that needs to be done for it to become true bottle to bottle.
True. And what's happening with linerless, especially India context? I mean, have you made any sort of, has there been any step in the right direction? I mean, we've been talking about it, but yeah.
So again, you'll be happy to know that we now have a manufacturing facility for linerless in India.
Okay.
This is still not in the prime labeling space. This is in the VI labeling space.
Okay.
Because the prime labeling, it's still some time before you can be there.
Sure.
But in the VI space, it works very well. It's again a challenge of ecosystem because it's just not about label stock material. It's also about printers.
Yep.
It's also about
which vertical
adhesives. So. So I will say it's a journey.
So is there a sort of adhesive incompatibility with linerless? Is that
adhesive incompatibility with printer? Okay. So how do you make sure that the printer doesn't get jammed at the time of application? Now you may have been able to solve it with one set of printers, but then not with the other set of printers, because they need to make some changes. So it's a 360-degree ecosystem that needs to become ready for linerless. Although again, I will say that this is one of the technology where we are leaning forward. There are markets beyond India where we have seen success. India, as I'm talking, it's been limited success, but again I will say it should pick because it makes a lot of commercial sense. Once you're able to overcome this initial bump of the printing infrastructure or the printer infrastructure, it is commercially better. Your storage is half, your transportation is half.
Correct.
Your application is smarter.
Yeah.
So it's again technology of future.
In India who's like even made sort of initial.
There are a lot of pilots.
Steps.
There are a lot of pilots
that
we are actively working on, and very successful pilots. But then of course the success would be when you convert these pilots into real commercial.
Again, there were two conversations I happened to have overheard. This is probably the last time I was at a label expo in Brussels. But one was linerless and the other was, I think there was a project, and correct me if I'm wrong, but there was something to do with a landfill exercise where I think Avery was partially involved, or you were funding it, or there was a consortium of label converters, etc. I don't know, I'm probably muddling up things, but I'm just curious to know, has there been some attempt as an industry body, industry forum, because I know the label folks do meet a lot more regularly and it's a tighter group, lot of fellowship, etc. But there were some conversations of doing something with what happens post consumer waste. So and then there was some talk that this is how we are going to collect it, and this is because we understand the science behind it, this is how we will manage the thing.
So again, this is what I'm understanding. You're referring to the matrix waste and the liner waste,
matrix
right?
waste, yeah.
So this is a live program that we have. We call it AD Circular.
Correct, AD Circular.
Wherein this it's available to converters and brands both.
Yep.
Wherein we will enable that the matrix waste and the liner waste is picked up and it doesn't go into landfill.
Nice.
So in fact, by becoming partner here, you also get those carbon credits back, which is again hard money.
True. So this you give a sort of test chart report with all the inputs and all. Lovely.
Everything.
And how long has this been going on?
It's been some time. In fact, this year, in the space of liner, we would be recycling more than 20% of all the waste that the industry generates. It's not only the Avery Dennison waste.
Of course, yeah.
And even the Matrix program has been very successful. In the liner case, you are able to convert that into more productive offerings like tissue papers, etc.
Nice.
For Matrix, it is still going into energy.
Makes sense.
Waste to energy stream.
And this is now what, 4 years, 5 years? Or pre-COVID?
It's pre-COVID.
Okay. So substantial. I mean, I think there's a reason to shout about it, because I think because I think these are little success stories we've managed, and this is India-centric program as well.
This
right?
is
globally, but also of course.
Yeah, this is India-centric program. There are different forms of program that exist in different parts of the company, but the one that I'm talking, this is India-centric program.
And again, you are the captain of that ship in a sense.
Yes.
Yeah, nice. Yeah. Very good. Well done.
Thank you.
Right, yeah. So 2 questions about India. One is just curious to know, because this is my boss, Noel Dicuna. He has ordered me to order you. One is, what is the India numbers? What does the data look like? He says, sab malum hai unko. Pooch lena. So again, putting you on the spotlight. What are the India numbers like? What is the growth story like? What are we consuming? What are the targets? 1 year, 5 years?
This you're talking for the industry.
Industry, right? Yes.
So this industry, I will say, is growing high single digit.
Okay.
This industry talks very closely to GDP.
Of course.
Because that's the strongest correlation.
What are your thumb rule? 1.5 times GDP or?
Close to that.
Close to that.
So it's a GDP plus growth. There may be some years where it goes up. There may be some years where it's less, but in principle, it's a GDP plus industry.
Nice.
And as there is more consumption that happens in the economy, all said and done, India is still a low per capita income country, $3,000. But we do believe that as this 3,000 starts to get more closer to 5,000, 6,000, the additional income that gets generated gets deployed more in the consumption.
Correct.
Where there's a direct bearing on what we are
discussing,
we are talking.
Yeah. And has the sort of ecosystem grown? Because I just sometimes find that it's around, I don't know, you would know the numbers better, but 350, 400 label converters who are really in the thick of things, who would probably be your A-list clients in a way, and catering to the top 80% of probably the broad spread of our industry. Would that be a good thumb rule to follow?
It would be. Although I'll say that we do want that for any industry to thrive,
the talent pool has to...
the ability to attract fresh talent becomes very important. And for that, it would be good that there are some standout converters who can start to compete with the global players. That potential is there, is what I'll say. Again, it's a matter of time when it should happen.
Sure. One other sort of slightly awkward question. So we do something called Print Week Awards, and from our internal perspective, the entries that come, especially labels, I mean, the entries that come in other categories are totally 17 quality categories, blah, blah, blah. But the label categories is astounding, and generally we have a jury of brand owners, etc., who evaluate it. 10 on 10, and everybody is just dazzled when they go out. But cut to, I was looking at the FINAT Awards this year, and I saw that there was only one Indian label converter who won. I mean, I just did a quick scan. I'm just curious to know that here is so much of great work happening in my eyes. Is there something I'm missing? 1 year you can understand that probably it's an anomaly. It can always happen that depending on jury choices there, etc. But is that all we are contributing into a global competition where you have just one player excelling in that sense? Isn't that a bit worrisome that on the quality quotient, which we were priding ourselves last 7-8 years, some of the work has been astonishing. So
honestly, I'll not read too much into it.
You won't read too much into it.
It doesn't worry me. It's an year. There can be a lot of reasons behind it. But the quality of labels that we are able to now create in this country are at par with best in the world.
Okay.
And sometimes even better. And as more and more brands and businesses start to export
of course,
their products, you will see that there's a cascading effect that happens everywhere. Now, if you're exporting this medicine to Europe, you have to comply with the European standards.
Sure.
Or if you are exporting this shampoo bottle to a market like Australia, then the needs are very different.
You have to up your game. Yeah.
Absolutely, and that is also happening. So as India becomes better in these spaces, there would be a positive rub-off on the entire packaging industry and on the label. But even today, as I say, that we are at par with what happens elsewhere.
Yeah. Nice. A few rapid-fire questions for you, Saurabh. One label technology that the industry is underestimating today.
Ramo, I'll say it's one thing that I'll say it would be digital product passport.
Okay.
And the reason is not because of the technology, but it's more because of it will redefine how the information moves, right from sourcing to manufacturing to distribution, reuse, refill, end of life.
Yeah.
This is a watch out, and it's coming. It's again a matter of time.
Right. So it's interesting. Yesterday, again we are at the ResPack conference. There were a few very senior people from the regulatory side, FSSAI, and so on. And I think one of the things, many things they shared with us, and they were fairly open and candid about it, is just data capture. And sometimes I just feel this kind of data is what the government really needs, because then they can, really do their job a little better.
One is the government needs, and again you will appreciate that what you can do with data now is
build
also
trust.
Build trust, and it can do a lot more. Like especially with the moment you layer it with the technologies like AI, etc.
Sure.
Data is everything.
Correct.
So that data is very relevant for regulators.
Correct.
It's even more relevant for brands.
Correct. Absolutely. Yeah, that is the other side. Yeah.
So
absolutely.
And even more relevant for consumers themselves.
Correct.
So
Correct,
so that's why, because as a consumer, like I would want to know where is the yarn for this jacket came from.
Correct. Absolutely.
Are these organic colors?
Right.
Was there any child labor that was used when it was getting manufactured?
Absolutely.
What do I do when I have to dispose it off?
Correct. I think somewhere EU has managed this better. Of course, collection of data, and more importantly, putting that data on public domain for everybody.
So EU is ahead of the game.
And that is something to learn, I guess.
EU is ahead of the game, and that's I'm saying that it's while it is still not there in India, but it has to happen.
Correct. And then a question which I'm sure every customer asks you every time you meet anyone for a drink or whatever. One market segment that they should keep an eye on for the next 5 years.
I'll say healthcare and pharmaceuticals.
Okay.
One is, of course, India is seen as the pharmacy of the world. But this is again a space which is evolving. Of course, I'll say that everything is important.
True.
But I'm expecting more to happen
in this space. Yeah. Are there label converters who are working and looking at this space? I can, as you answer this question, I can't think of more than 12 who are actually operating in this space.
Yeah, the ones sizable. Yeah, the ones who are sizable and who are serious would be limited. But this is a promising space.
This is one challenge that label converters should be looking. Again, the fact that you're obviously talking to counterparts in the US, in Europe, in other corners of the world, something that Indian converters should be aware of. Over and above all this macroeconomic and war and all that, but something that they should keep an eye on.
So historically, if you see, the label converters have been very focused on printing. But I'll say the future will not be only printing.
Right.
It would be a convergence of printing, sustainability, and intelligence.
Nice.
So, and one's ability to connect them together and especially strengthen all the capabilities that come on the data side. So that will be the ones who will be able to crack the code will have an advantage over the ones who are
sort of lagging. Yeah. Got it. And one final thing. You're obviously Vice President and General Manager at Avery, but in addition to that, you're a chartered accountant. And what impresses even me more is you're a Marwadi from Sikar. So any Guru Mantra that you have, which you believe is your go-to, because it's a tough industry. So something that every time you wake up, you remind yourself that hey.
Nothing special. You just have to be better version of yourself.
Better version of yourself, which could be true.
Don't compete with anyone else. Just become a better version of yourself. Right. And there is absolutely no substitute to innovation.
Got it.
And that has to happen every day.
Day to day. Yeah, that's true. Great. Thank you very much for doing this. I know you're a super duper busy man. Before I let you run away and jump onto a flight, I'll share a copy of What Packaging. This is brought out by a very young team under 30. That's the exciting part. They were there, I think, at Interpack. They, I think, also interacted with you, etc. But what's also nice is that we are hoping to sort of just relook, rebrand, and repackage the entire magazine, make it more pop culture, so that it becomes accessible.
It's very catchy.
Yeah,
I'm loving it.
You're loving it.
And Ramu, thank you, big thank you to you. Like,
no,
I'll say,
you.
I love the conversation.
Sure.
I'm really impressed with so much you know about our industry.
Good. Give me a job. I can be the vice president.
Absolutely.
Right.
But thank you.
Thank you. Yeah. So thank you very much. This is What Packaging at the ResPack conference. I was having a wonderful chat with Saurabh Agarwal. He is Vice President, General Manager, Materials Group, South Asia, someone who runs operations at Avery, along with a whole lot of other team members, but more importantly, cares a lot about the graphic art space as well as labels, and more power to him for that. So thank you.